We're going to go back in time. It's the Ferrari LaFerrari, the McLaren P1, and the Porsche 918. And I remember the moments of when these three cars were competitively coming out. There was so much anticipation about who was doing what, and what will be the rarest, and what will be the most powerful, and who would be the leader on top in the end after these big three launches would take place, these so-called once-in-a-decade kind of opportunities. So it's actually September 2012. September is the Paris Motor Show. The P1 concept is about to be unveiled. I actually personally went on my vacation to go see it because I was personally so excited for the P1. And the debut car itself was volcano orange. All the cars on the show stand themselves, from the 12C Coupe, the 12C Spider, and even a McLaren Formula One car on the wall, all dripping in volcano orange. It's a pretty exciting moment. 375 cars, big power, high anticipation from the brand, Formula One technology. Ron Dennis is behind the brand at the time, the chairman and kind of maybe savior to McLaren in the modern era. And the designer Frank Stephenson and his team had put this beautiful car and shape together. So I was fortunate to be a part of the McLaren P1 project. Back in 2012-13, we were selling all the allocations, and it was something I really enjoyed. And I was fortunate to work with the gentleman who originally spec'd this car. It was about pushing the envelope, finding little details to make this car perhaps one of the most legendary specs. So we refer to the car as Chassis 84. It was featured in a special color called Sterling Gray. So it was a special formula made specifically for this original owner, kind of a spin-off of Graphite Gray. But then putting twists in with McLaren Orange, as you can see, accents on the wheels, on the headrests, and then it just carries over into the finer details, such as the 24-karat gold heat shield. And then there were also some, I guess you can call it, secret things that were done for this car that I'm probably not supposed to speak about, but I'm going to do it anyways. One is called Race Mode 2, which the specific owner had asked, I want to have the race mode, the iconic stance, and road legal use. So therefore, software was put into this car to allow it to be activated with the lifter up, race mode on, and here you have this beautiful iconic look, wing up, and also it has a special exhaust. This is an official McLaren component that was installed on this vehicle in coordination with McLaren Special Operations and McLaren Greenwich. And James Banks at the time, who we say thank you even to this day for organizing all these cool opportunities, arranged to book out the Top Gear Dunsfold track. And here we would have the opportunity to go out for passenger drives. I even got to drive it, which was a dream come true, something I'll never forget. And also just memories of seeing my face turn completely pale white. Usually I can take big speed and big power, but I have to admit, I'd never felt this kind of jolt of torque and power ever before, and still to this day, nothing feels like a McLaren P1. But as we go through the engine compartment, you'll see the P1 painted in McLaren orange over the engine cover. That was a special wishes request through MSO. We also have the special tick on the McLaren badge in McLaren orange. We have the 24-karat gold heat shield, a special option that was reserved for special builds, as well as something that came in from inspiration from the McLaren F1. And as we look at the side, we have the McLaren P1 painted on the side. This was something that actually was done kind of specially, originally also from the F1, and on the rear there is a enameled rear badge that says P1, something also a special P1 MSO wish, inspired by the McLaren F1. I'll say this was a pretty unique thing, not often seen until you open the doors, but this was beautifully painted, and perching through, you can even see through the carbon is MSO just coming through there. Just another one of these details that we had to push the factory on to make a reality. And as you look at P1, you have 7 different weaves of carbon, from a very thick to a smaller cut weave, some for structural and visual. And then obviously these amazing P1 seats. And then this car was equipped with special MSO P1 harnesses for the track use, which are not currently installed now, but a nice little detail. Well, the car was actually chosen as the Pebble Beach show car in August of 2014. There's actually a cool plaque that shows this kind of moment in history for the P1. The car was on the 18th fairway at Pebble Beach, and this was an opportunity for the world to see the first kind of customer car in the US market. And now the car resides as approximately a one-owner car with 900 miles, which is uber low and very collectible for someone who wants the best. And we've been fortunate to have McLaren P1 techs look after this car very thoroughly since new, sparing no expense to ensure that it was running properly. There are 2 special signatures done by 2 icons. One is done by Frank Stephenson, the chief and lead designer on the McLaren P1 project. We have a very special signature over here from Ron Dennis, the chairman of McLaren, a very important person in McLaren's history who was involved. And to actually obtain this signature, a generous donation was made to a special foundation, very near and dear to Ron Dennis. And then throughout, there are some really cool signatures of people that were involved in the speccing of this car. At the time, Emily Monk, whose name has changed, she now works at Gordon Murray, seeing some other people from Jamie Weir to James Banks, head of McLaren Special Operations at the time, someone who worked very closely on this project with the original owner. It's really just kind of the perfect example of a P1 having special history from Pebble Beach, from Top Gear track, to all these artisans that put this car together. And thank you so much for watching this video with Miller Motor Cars and McLaren Greenwich.